Taking a gap year is such a cheat code. Yesterday I was talking to my pre-med advisor and she was impressed with how much of my shit I have together before submitting my application in June. And I could not be this prepared if I did not take a gap year. When I was in college, I was so over involved. I was on the debate team, I was doing research, I was like always working at least one job, but sometimes two part-time jobs. I was in leadership. Controversial opinion, actually not controversial. When you're in college, you're paying money to be in college. So I focused on sucking out every single extracurricular I could out of my school because I knew that when I graduated, that's when I can focus on getting my clinical hours. When I graduated, yeah, I had extracurriculars out the wazoo, but I did not have one clinical hour, a single one, zero, zilch, nada, nothing. So I had a mission, I had a plan as soon as I graduated. I started my first clinical job 3 days after graduation. I was a medical scribe. I hated it, so I left. But the thing is, if I had applied to medical school when I was an undergrad, sure, I would have had good extracurriculars. But one, I was into my MCAT, so I couldn't have applied regardless. But also, I would have 0 clinical hours. But now, when I'm applying, I'm going to have thousands paid clinical hours. In my current job, I work with patients at least 3 hours a day, every day. I talk to patients. I get to know them. They know me on a first name basis, not as described in the back of the corner. I can go on about how much I don't like being a medical scribe, but now I have time. Yeah, it's hard working full-time while studying for the MCAT, but it's a lot easier than being a student full-time and studying for the MCAT because I'm not a quitter, guys. I tried studying for the MCAT when I was in college. I lasted 2 weeks. 2 weeks because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't be taking 19 credits. I was trying to maintain at this point, as close to a 4.0 GPA that I could that semester. I did not have a 4.0 GPA my entire college. So I could not do all that while studying for the MCAT. You just can't. When you're in school, your biggest priority is your GPA, honestly, and then extracurriculars are kind of a bonus. So I was like, you know what? I can't just redo my college experience, but I can take the MCAT whenever I want. So I just pushed it to the side and I was like, you know what? I'll focus on that after my gap year. And I have no regrets. 0 regrets. 0. Because studying for the MCAT while working full time is so much easier. Yeah, studying for the MCAT while working full time isn't easy, but I only have 2 priorities now, and that's going to work and studying for the MCAT. Whereas when I was an undergrad, it was have an amazing GPA, be involved in leadership, do community service, see your research paper published. It was all of these things. I was juggling so much more than I am now. Now it's just pay your bills, study for the MCAT. Easy is a relative term. It's not easy, but it's easier. Especially because I don't have all the stress of, oh, you need to go hang out with your friends because you're only in college once. You gotta go out. Now, I'm a hermit. I fully admit I'm a hermit right now. And that's okay. I hang out with my boyfriend who's studying for the LSAT, so we have to study together. And I literally made one friend from work maybe 2 weeks ago, and she's also pre-med. But it's fine. It's totally okay. I don't have social pressure to be involved and be extroverted. I can just hunker down and get my clinical hours, get my good MCAT score, and submit. Also, I have dotted my I's and crossed my T's. I have my shit together. I did not have my shit together in undergrad for 2 reasons. 1, I was overcommitted. And 2, I had undiagnosed ADHD and anxiety disorder. That's another benefit of your gap year, by the way. That's a great time to get your mental health in order. That's what I did. So what I did actually before I was studying for the MCAT for the second time is I was like, you know what? I have all this time. I get home from work at 4 o'clock. Why don't I work on my personal statements? So I have my secondaries 80% pre-written and I have my personal statement basically done. And it's February. I don't apply until June 1st. I told my advisor this yesterday, and my advisor, I love her, but it's literally her job to tell pre-meds you need to get your shit together before applying to medical school. She was like, girl, I'm impressed. You are ready to go. She was shocked. Because I have the time now. I have the time to polish my essays while also studying for the MCAT and getting my clinical hours. I can just focus on my application. I could not do that when I was an undergrad. Literally could not. It was impossible. If you have any part of your body that's oh, I want to take a gap year, just do it. You will not regret it. I know that medical school takes a long time and so does residency, but the 1 to 2 years that you take a gap year, it's not really gonna make a huge difference. I guarantee it. Especially when you don't have to reapply. In undergrad, I was not confident in my application at all, but now I am confident. I know that I spent so much time and that it's not going to be rushed. So like, there's no harms. The only harm you get from taking a gap year is, oh, I'm going to start medical school at 23 instead of 21 or whatever. It don't matter, okay? Like, it don't matter. I have the confidence now that I did not have when I was a little baby, just getting her college diploma. You know what I mean? I'm an adult now. Like, I feel like now I can sit in a medical interview and be like, here's who I am. I'm that girl. I know that I will be a good doctor. I did not have that self-assuredness when I was in college, especially because I didn't have any clinical hours. But now I've been working in the clinical world for over a year, and I've had my supervisor just be like, patients are raving about you. They say that you're amazing, and I love working in neurology. Like, I know I love medicine, whereas before I was kind of unsure if I still wanted to do it. So anyways, just take the gap year. I love it. I love it. And now I want to apply medical school. Like, I know they're going to want to read my application. It's going to be a banger. And I know bangers. All right.